The man tried to pick a weapon, but as soon as he touched it, a powerful surge of electricity erupted, and by the second contact, he was sent flying. It turned out that Naofumi had been summoned as a hero, but due to his special shield, he was unable to wield any other weapons, so he had no choice but to equip armor, leave the town, and venture out with his companions to fight monsters and level up. However, as a level 1 Naofumi, it took him a lot of time just to defeat even the weakest of monsters. Luckily, his high defense made monster attacks almost ineffective, and after defeating a monster, Naofumi absorbed its remains with his shield, unlocking a new skill. After finishing their battle, the two rested at an inn, but when Naofumi woke up, he found that everything he owned had disappeared. He tried to ask his companions about it, but suddenly, a group of soldiers surrounded him. The king held a trial, and Mari claimed that Naofumi had snuck into her room and tried to assault her. Kitamura protected her, and they accused Naofumi of the crime, even demanding his execution. Naofumi soon noticed that Kitamura was wearing the armor he had bought the day before, realizing he had been framed. However, the so-called evidence led everyone to believe Mari, and the false accusations were publicly announced.
Mai, なんでお前そんなこと。俺たち仲間じゃ。
Naofumi, furious, unleashed a surge of power, broke through the soldiers' encirclement, and tossed the last few silver coins before walking away. As he passed through an alley, the weapon shop owner intended to speak up for Mari, but upon seeing Naofumi's gaze, he instead gave him a cloak as a gift. Angry, Naofumi wandered into the wilderness, looking for monsters to vent his frustration, but due to his weak attack power, he spent the entire day just barely reaching level 2. He sold the monster remains, but the shopkeeper, knowing his situation, only offered to buy them at a very low price. Naofumi revealed the monster hidden under his cloak, scaring the shopkeeper, and finally sold the remains at a reasonable price. In another alley, a group of thugs surrounded Naofumi, demanding protection money. He used balloon monsters to strike them, and the thugs prepared to retaliate. One swift strike from Naofumi interrupted their attack, and the thugs fled in panic. Then, a man emerged from the shadows, and Naofumi followed him back to his lair, where many slaves were kept. Naofumi noticed a weak, sickly female slave. She was no match for the powerful level 67 orc, but Naofumi still chose her. The merchant used Naofumi's blood to activate her badge, and her name was Lia, a half-human. Naofumi bought Lia a full set of equipment, and had her fight monsters alongside him. At first, Lia was reluctant to act, but eventually, she obeyed his orders. After defeating monsters, Naofumi gained a lot of experience, and Lia quickly leveled up. One day, while grinding in the wilderness, Lia learned that Naofumi was the shield hero, which reminded her of her father's words. The legendary shield hero was kind to demi-humans. Lia became so excited she started coughing, and Naofumi gave her some cold medicine, which he had made using his new skill. That night, Lia had a nightmare about her parents dying in a wave, and she woke up crying. Naofumi comforted her. A few days later, Naofumi sold the newly made medicinal herbs, and Lia was drawn to a child's toy. Naofumi asked if she wanted it, and although she said no, her tale betrayed her true feelings. Naofumi and Lia went to a restaurant, and Naofumi ordered a children's meal. Lia complained that she wasn't a child,